We always enjoy the conversation with Steve Merrill from Wager Talk. Get on over there to Wager Talk. Check out Steve's work there, breaking down college football, but also the NFL, Major League Baseball, and the NBA is coming soon. We get Steve for three of the biggest games of the week, but also his under the radar selection over on Patreon. Just search Mark Rogers TV, sign up there, get Steve's under the radar selection right there. USC at Oregon State, and what's got to be the Beavers' biggest game in forever, as a 6.5-point dog at home. An intriguing matchup. Oregon State with already wins against Fresno State and against Boise State in pretty impressive or dramatic fashion. In one case, USC has been dominant, Steve, in 3 games.
Yeah, and I think USC is one of those teams that needs to win by margin this season. So I think you always have to be very careful fading this type of team. However, this is a competitive game. It's a lot different when you're a 32-point favorite against Rice. They win 66-14. They can name their score. You know, when you're playing big favorites, it's always a matter of do they want to cover as a 30, 40-point favorite. I would be very careful fading USC in those spots. They were also a 9.5 and 11.5-point favorite against Stanford and Fresno. They won by 13 and by 28 in those games. So they are 3-0 ATS, but this is by far the most competitive game they've had this season. And I actually think the line is inflated due to those recent results. In fact, my power ratings favor USC by just 2 points in this game. So there is line value with Oregon State plus 5.5. In fact, this line opens as high as 7. Even as we speak, late week here, there's some 6.5 out there, 6 elsewhere, but mostly 5.5. The line is dropping, and I think that's sharp money, and I agree with the move because, once again, my power ratings favor USC by only 2 points. Oregon State is able to keep this game close and competitive. As you mentioned, Mark, it's a huge home game for them, and that is something you have to take into consideration because it's a home field advantage in a game like this, and I don't think USC is going to be quite prepared for it. Yes, they played at Stanford, but they haven't seen anything like the atmosphere this weekend. Oregon State also 3-0 ATS and straight up, so they've been a moneymaker just like USC. And overall, the schedules have been pretty equal this season. What I like about Oregon State is they can move the ball offensively because obviously you've got to move the ball against USC. They're an explosive offensive team. Trojans averaging almost 51 points a game. But don't look now, the Beavers are averaging just under 46 points per game over 7 yards per play. So I think this is a live underdog, and I think we get some line value with them on top of it.
It's a much different home field atmosphere than what we saw at Stanford, where it's like a mausoleum. At Oregon State, their fan base there, they know that they've got a good football team, and that this is the shot to break through and show the nation that they're for real. And it's a very odd home field advantage this season because the stadium's under construction, but they're playing in the stadium while it's under construction. So it's kind of torn up and half down, and they've got a small crowd, but they're close to the field. And it's a very odd and eerie scene that USC may be playing in late night in Corvallis. Wager Talk is the place to be, folks, to catch Steve's work, not just on the picks themselves, but money management. And again, your college football fanatics, you got to get over there. Many of you love the NFL as well, Major League Baseball and the NBA. That's wagertalk.com with Steve. Get on over to Patreon. Steve's Under the Radar selection is posted right now on Patreon with me at Mark Rogers TV.